Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today, I'm going to do a little bit of a different video than I normally would make. Now, that may sound a little bit weird, but you can always see something different on the screen as well. If you look on the screen right here, you'll see first, second, and third. This right here is actually becoming very important for this episode, but not at this very moment. I went ahead and put it on this, or have it already on the screen. That way, I can have it ready for whenever I do the thing in the video. Now to start off, guys, this is basically just going to be a big ol' announcement video. Actually, I shouldn't say big ol' announcement video because of the fact that this announcement has to let you guys know about something that happened. And I'll let you know about that in a few seconds. The main part of this video, or the main thing of this video, is going to be this on the screen, where I'm finally going to make you guys an official video talking about all of my favorite starters from Generation 1 through 8. I tried doing this series a long time ago, but it was a huge fail. Horrible, horrible video. And I'm going to try redeeming it, but now the 8th generation out upon us. Just like most PokeTubers do, I'm going to make a video. I'm going to tell you guys my favorite starter from all the way from Gen 1, the Kanto region, to Gen 8, the Galar region. And that's going to include every region in between. That includes Johto, Hoenn, stuff like that. It's going to include every one of them. But before I do that, I'm going to first off let you know real quickly. I'll let you know about this when I actually start going through the list. Actually, I won't even explain the list rules until I get to them. Before I even get to the list, let me tell you what I'm going to do for this episode. As I just mentioned, the first part of this episode is going to be me making an announcement to you guys, and I will be making that in a second. But first, I want you to observe the room that we're in right now. If you can't tell, this is the same exact room when we do games like Pokemon Sword and Shield, Pokemon Battle Revolution. I can't even think. That new Pokemon Mystery Dungeon I finished about 6 days ago or so. I'm in that room again. Like I said, I'm making an announcement here because as I'm speaking, everybody in the living room is actually asleep right now. And the kitchen where I normally sit is only right beside that living room. And if I wake anybody up, they're going to be mad at me. And if I wake up the so-called interrupter, she's going to screw everything out of this. Because this video is going to be pretty long. May not over the length of an hour long, but it will be a good bit of a length for just like a bill announcement video and stuff like that. Now, I do have to be kind of quick about this as well because my drop cord is not plugged in my computer right now. I didn't plug it in. If I need to, I will go grab it real quick. But right now, I don't think I honestly need it because, like I said, it shouldn't take me over 2 hours to do this. Normally, my battery can at least last 2 hours before it goes dead. So I should be fine right now as long as I don't spend too much time talking about one thing or another. Now, as I mentioned again a while ago, I'm going to make an announcement for this episode right here. Along with that, I'm going to be going through all my favorite stars from each generation. I'm going to go and tell you right now, you guys should know the frickin' you should know some of these Pokemon, or know which ones are some of my favorites, judging by how I talk in my videos. I've talked about some of my favorite Pokemon to begin with. You can tell by the videos. You can tell by some of the shirts I wear. You can obviously tell. But along with that, you can also tell how I talk in the videos that I play Pokemon in. Hint, hint. Pokemon Battle Revolution. What Pokemon do I talk the most good about? Which Pokemon do I call my sweetheart, my sweet little angel? Yeah, that gives you a big old hint. So yeah, let me just go and tell you that right now. Some of these videos should actually give away some of my favorite Pokemon. but it only gives away like my first and second generation favorite Pokemon. It don't give away like it kind of gives away the 4th gen Pokemon because I do have my 4th gen starter and PBR as well, but I don't use them near as much as I do the one I keep calling the Sweetheart and my Sweet Little Angel and all of that. Again, before I get to that, though, I'm going to go ahead and make an announcement. And that announcement actually involves the... Hold on. That announcement actually involves the game I was just talking about. That announcement being about Pokemon Battle Revolution. Now, I think I gotta let you guys know about this right now. Well, first off, let's go back in the past. Or let's go back a few months ago or so from when I was doing this. In one of my previous episodes of Pokemon Battle Revolution, I mentioned that we were having a lot of trouble with this game, where the game wouldn't really transfer any Pokemon over to the game, so I couldn't just restart the file and then redo it again to do the Waterfall Coliseum or something like that. Well, I actually figured out how in the world to get the transfer. Now, I don't know why this had to do with it, but before I tried this method that actually worked, I ended up trying the same method I did the first few times. What I did was I went into the game like normal, restarted it. Once the girl named Anna stopped explaining everything, I went into the copy Pokemon section, tried to copy them, and again, when I went on the Pokemon Soul Silver menu, it would not show up the Connect to Wii option. I tried something before I gave up, and it actually worked. Here's what I did. First off, I turned on my wireless connection thing that was on my 3DS. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, around the right side of your Nintendo 3DS, there will be this little switch that I guess like turns on the Wi-Fi or something like that. All I did was I turned on that switch, went to my Nintendo 3DS settings, went to the internet settings, connected to the internet we've got hooked up right now, went off of that once it was connected, and tried it again. It worked. As soon as I did that, went on the menu and connected and got the game in, it actually connected me into the game, or it started working. Now, just like the previous episodes, actually every time we've restarted the game and done anything like that, there's never really been many changes. Oh, sorry about that, guys. I'm sorry about that. Anyway, there's never been really many changes going on to the game. Most of the time, you'll see the exact same teammates, just one or two of them having different kinds of moves. If this keeps up like it's been doing, I may actually be teaching my Pokemon one or two new moves. Here's the thing. One thing that I definitely did this time was I actually gave some PowerPoint ups to my Pokemon's moves. Not all of them, but to some of them. For example, Feraligator's Dig now has 12 power points instead of 10. I gave some PowerPoint ups to that way if we ever run out, or we run to like a battle where there's fog and everything just screws us up, I may continue using PowerPoint ups, but for now, since I got the game to transfer, I feel excited about that. If I complete the game and want to transfer or do something different to my games again, I can just restart and hopefully have the same thing we just did here work. Along with that, I did teach Feraligator 2 new moves. And they're moves you've seen in the past, but I'm going to explain why I actually did it. First off, I'm going to talk about another Pokemon's move that I did teach. And that Pokemon's move, well, the Pokemon in general, is actually Pidgeot. As you guys know, in my previous, in the episode I did the last few times, when we saw Pidgeot's moveset, we saw one of the moves that it had was U-Turn, Roost, Fly, and Hyper Beam. I actually got rid of Hyper Beam. I can't quite remember why I did, because I did this like 2 or 3 months ago, before I tried to transfer my Pokemon again. What I did was instead of teaching them Hyper Beam, I got rid of that for Pursuit. Now, it may sound weird, and you may be wondering why I did that. I actually cannot remember myself why I did that. But one thing I can think of that I may have, one reason why I may have thought about doing it was probably so we can hit ghost types. Like, yes, PGL can hit ghost types with like its flying type moves, but the problem is we'd run into it probably wouldn't do as much. At least with Pursuit, we'll be doing a decent chunk of damage. Like, it ain't the most powerful move, but it's also super effective. So I'm hoping things will work out. Along with that, I got Feraligatr more suited up with Ghost as well. One of the moves that he knew whenever I did my old videos of this game, his 4 moves a long time ago were the following. He had Ice Fang, he had Focus Blast, he had Hydro Cannon, and he had Crunch. Well, I brought some of those moves back for him this time. Well, the only move I brought back from that move, as you just heard me say, the only move I brought back is Crunch. Mainly because with Return, it's really iffy. One, it depends on how much Feraligatr loves me. And according to the game, he's full affection, should love me. But here's the thing. As you guys know, in the past 2 episodes we've been doing in this game, Return has not been doing as much as I thought. So what I did was I replaced Return with Crunch. And now, one thing this is going to help me with is maybe now I won't get so upset if it don't do much damage. Because here's the thing, about a few months ago, I actually had an episode where Feraligatr's Return was doing completely nothing, and I actually went into a depressed state thinking that Feraligatr really hated me. I care about Feraligatr that much, and whenever I thought he hated me, it actually like literally ripped my heart in half. Knowing that I was talking nicely and loving this Pokemon, all of a sudden it feels like it hates me. That was not a good feeling to feel. And you guys know how I feel about stuff like that because I've made videos on it. You've seen my reactions in the past with things like him getting paralyzed, infatuated, confused, poisoned. You name it, we've probably gotten hit by it. Or you name a status condition, we've probably gotten infected by it. The only one I haven't seen, I think we've even gotten frozen. Like, it's really rare, but I've seen freezing happen before too. So yeah. Along with teaching him that, I also taught him one other move. Instead of having Waterfall, I taught him a more powerful but less accurate move. I don't quite remember what Waterfall's accuracy was, but I believe it was actually 100%. This time, I taught him the move called Aqua Tail. Now, I think about Aqua Tail, it has more power, so Feraligatr can deal a lot more damage with that move. However, its accuracy is not the best. It's less than Ice Fang, but only by 5 points. It's got 90 accuracy, but also at the same time, 90 power. Waterfall, his old move, only had 80. So it's kind of a turnover in a way, or a counterbalance to each other. On one hand, if he hits it, he can do a lot more damage, probably one-shot a lot more Pokemon. However, on the other hand, if we're in a Coliseum-like courtyard and we run into some fog, we have a way better chance of missing than anything, which is a real big problem right now. I don't want him ending up missing. Now, I'm going to go and tell you right now, guys, that's all the moveset that my Pokemon has changed. Every other Pokemon has the exact same moveset they had before. I was actually thinking about teaching Feraligatr a move called Avalanche, but the thing is, it's actually got like 5 points less power than Ice Fang does. You have a better chance of hitting Ice Fang and getting damage off of that. I think the only thing that, it's kind of a trade-over as well though, because I think it has alright accuracy. I don't remember what its accuracy was, but I remember it being like 5 points lower in power than Ice Fang actually is. If I could get him, well, I was about to say if I could get him Ice Beam, things will work out, but I keep forgetting that Ice Beam was actually a special attack. I actually did see that. I looked it up and it said Ice Beam was actually a special attack, which sucks because Feraligatr's special attack is god-awful. The thing is, my Feraligatr is he's a good tank in defense. He's got really good attack, and he's got a really good speed. In fact, while doing the stuff off camera, I ended up getting him like 2 levels higher. So instead of being level 64 like he was in the last thing, he's now level 66 and has 200 HP plus more attack and defense and all that junk. So he's now tankier, has better attack, and if it keeps up me training for the Pokemon, maybe eventually I'll even try to get him up to level 100, and things will work out that way. I honestly don't know, though. So yeah. Anyway, guys, that's about all I gotta let you guys know about the Pokemon Battle Revolution announcement. The main thing I gotta let you know is that it, let me transfer, and I gave my Pokemon some new moves, which I just talked about. So now, we're going to focus the rest of this video on what these mean. I think I just mentioned this in the beginning of the episode, but like I said, I want to use these numbers, and I'm going to let you guys know personally what my favorite starter from Generation 1 to Generation 8 is. Now, let me go ahead and tell you some of these explanations, or some of the explanations I have for the Pokemon being my least favorite or favorite, don't have much of a description to go into them. Most of the Pokemon that I like are literally animalistic, and what I mean by that is they look like animals. Thing about Pokemon is, most of the Pokemon that look like humans, no, I don't like them at all. Not much at all. The Pokemon that look like just animals are pretty cool to me. And you can tell that with most of my favorite starters as well. Some of the starters later on look almost like humans, but just like have a little bit of animal in them. Like for example, in Generation 3, Blaziken. Most people like Blaziken. The problem is, to me, he just looks kind of creepy and weird, and I don't like him that much. I know that was kind of a dead giveaway for one of the entries coming up here, but again, it's going to take a while for me to get to that. Let me go ahead and let you know right now that, again, if I don't give much of an explanation, just let you know, if the animal is more animalistic than any other Pokemon, like if the Pokemon don't have any distinctions between a human or an animal, I'm good with it. I'll go ahead and give you an example right now, not using the starters. One of my most favorite Pokemon, and actually my most favorite poison type, is Nidoking. Now, you think since I like Nidoking, I like Nidoqueen, right? No. I ain't gonna say why because of how YouTube is nowadays, but let me just say it's because of a certain part of its body that's around right here. That's all I can say. It looks like something that I shouldn't be describing. Let's just say it like that. Like I said, when a Pokemon has too much humanoid characteristics, it sucks. Think about Nidoking. It don't look like much. Like, you can't tell there's really nothing physically there to do different. I can't think of the word because here's the thing. I can't say it too bad because then I don't want you to get mad at me for that. So yeah, you guys know what I mean. I'm just gonna tell you it's around this area. I ain't gonna tell you what it is, but you guys can probably assume from where I was telling you it was. Nidoking don't have all that weird looking parts on him, and I like how he looks a lot better. Hence him being my favorite poison type. Most of the starters have that going for them too in a way, but they don't have nothing like that like Nidoqueen has, but they still have characteristics that make them look too humanoid, and in turns can make me hate them more. Like I said, I like Pokemon that look more like animals, which I think all these entries, except for maybe one or two, or maybe even just all of them, heck, I don't know until we keep going. There's going to be at least one or two Pokemon that look a little bit like a human that I don't mind about. And so yeah, you'll be seeing that. But without further ado, guys, we're gonna go ahead and get started. And yeah, let me go ahead and do this. So first off, like we always do, we're gonna start off from Generation 1. Let me go and write it down. Don't worry if I spell these wrong, honestly. I'm just doing the best spelling I can. I probably didn't spell this right at all. I don't know if that's the right spelling, but just understand, you know what Generation 1 is. Don't blame me for my spelling. Some of these Pokemon names I'm not going to be able to get right either, so don't try blaming me on that spelling. Anyway, the first generation is Kanto, which has the starters of Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle. And actually, from this generation, it's actually kind of hard to pick what my third and second favorite are, because in a way, I like all three of them in a certain way. I know some of you guys are going to be kind of mad at me for this choice. For third place, I'm actually going to put... Let me go and write it down. I'm scared of spelling his name wrong. Squirt. Again, guys, I'm sorry if I'm spelling his name wrong. Like I said, I cannot spell for the living frick of me. I'm sorry about the god-awful spelling. If you can't read that, it's Squirtle. Good God, I can't spell. Anyway, to some of you, that may seem a lot, really weird. But the thing is, if there's a generation where I like all three Pokemon or something like that, there's gotta be at least one characteristic that kind of helps them out or messes them up. With Squirtle, that starts at Blastoise. I like Squirtle and I like Wartortle. However, to me, Blastoise just ain't as cool. I honestly thought Wartortle was way better, and he's just been... I've always liked Squirtle and I've always liked Wartortle, and Blastoise never just really stood out to me. Me playing Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee makes me like him more, but at the same time, along with liking Squirtle, it also helps me like the other starters more. Like I said, the main thing that screws over Squirtle is because of his final evolution. I was never really been a big fan of him. Like I said, as you've seen from my old iPad and tablet gameplay videos, I've always been a fan of, like, dragons, dinosaurs. Hence why I like some Pokemon like Tyrantrum and Tyrant. You know, because they're dinosaur Pokemon. That kind of thing. Like I said, Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee has made me like some of these Pokemon a lot more. Including Blastoise. But there's no way in the living heck it's going over the any of the other two starters. Now, let me go and explain. You can probably already tell by me talking about these Pokemon so much. That's why I'm saying the first and second generation. It's going to be very easy for you to tell what it is. Do I ever talk about Squirtle that often? No. Do I ever talk about the other Kanto starter that... What's the only... Let me go and tell you this right now. What is the only Kanto starter I really mentioned to begin with? Hint, it's on my shirt. So yeah, like I said, Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee has really helped me like Squirtle. I've always liked Squirtle and I've always liked Wartortle, but I've always thought Blastoise was the worst of the two, worst of the three. And yeah, I've never even been a big fan of him. For y'all that are a fan of him, great. It's just that I've never really been that huge of a fan. Speaking of that, let me go ahead and let you guys know if you guys have a favorite Pokemon. Or like, tell me your favorite Pokemon, starter Pokemon from Generation 1 through 8 in the comments. So yeah. I'm sorry, I thought I heard something. Anyway, moving on from Squirtle. Like I said, I still like Squirtle and Wartortle, but Blastoise kind of screws everything out of that. So yeah. My second place choice actually goes to Again, I'm going right down. Again, if I have horrible spelling, please don't blame me for that. I'm going to try not to spell them too badly. But again, it probably won't be that bad. Or it won't be that good. I'm scared I'm spelling wrong now. I don't know if I'm spelling them right or not, but I'm just spelling the way I can. By the way, this is an A. The letter that this line's over. So yeah. My second place choice for Kanto is actually Bulbasaur. Like I just mentioned with Squirtle, Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee has really helped me grow to love these stars a little bit more. Used to, I didn't really think about Squirtle or Bulbasaur like nearly at all, and I always thought my number one choice. Which, you already know it is, because there's only one Pokemon I haven't mentioned in this region yet. I've always liked Bulbasaur and Squirtle in some way, shape, or form, but there's always been one thing that's kind of screwed them up. Squirtle, it was always Blastoise. Like, I don't mind my Blastoise in a way, but again, he's not my favorite at all. Bulbasaur, like I said, I never really had a hate relationship with Bulbasaur, and I actually always liked him. Like, I liked all three of his evolutions, and that's one thing that also screwed Squirtle in a way. Because, like I said, I just said with Bulbasaur how I like all of his evolutions. Well, Squirtle, I'm not really a big fan of Blastoise. And that also goes into the top spot as well. I like all the number one spots of evolutions, while some of these other ones I don't. Bulbasaur probably could have been number one if this Pokemon didn't exist. Like I've always liked Squirtle and Wartortle, but Blastoise again has ruined it for me. Bulbasaur doesn't really have anything bad going for him. I think the only thing about his evolution is Venusaur's a little bit creepy, but I can get around that. Blastoise I've just never really been a big fan of, so yeah. And with that out of the way, you can already tell what number one's gonna be. It's going to be the Pokemon I mentioned probably the second most. I say the second most because I've actually been mentioning my favorite Gen 2 Pokemon a lot more. Again, you can probably get the good old hint from PBR. So yeah. It was literally one of the Pokemon I just talked about in the beginning of this video, guys. But anyway, my favorite Gen 1 Pokemon of all time. That sucks for an H. Oh my gosh. Oh my god. I'm sorry. Hold on. I feel like I'm messing his name up too. Oh god. Anyway, I'm sorry about that. My number one favorite Pokemon from Generation 1 is Charmander. Now, Charmander I've always really liked ever since I got into Pokemon. He was actually the first Pokemon I think I started liking, which is weird because if you guys know me, my favorite color is actually the color of Bulbasaur's name right here. My favorite color is actually green. I kind of figured that when I got into Pokemon or something like that, I'd fall in love with a green Pokemon or something like that. But no, I actually fell in love with an red/orange fire type lizard that evolves into a freaking dragon. And that's one reason why I like him so much. Because like I said in the beginning, I've always liked dragons and dinosaurs and all that, as you can tell from my iPad and Tab gameplay series that I quit doing. As you can tell from that, you can always tell that I love them kind of mythical creatures. And so for Charizard, or like this, for Charmander, this cute little thing to evolve into a dragon, that is awesome to me, and it really helps him out. With Squirtle, like I said a while ago, I like Squirtle and I like Wartortle, but Blastoise screws it up. Bulbasaur, I like all three of his evolutions, but I think that Venusaur is a little bit creepy. Charmander has like a really cool evolution in every sort of way. Charmander's really cute. For a while, I didn't really get into Charmeleon that much, but after playing Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, I've loved him a lot. And the same thing goes for Charizard as well. Charizard's the main reason why Charmander's even on here, but of course Charmander's also very cute. And so yeah, I've always really liked Charmander. So all my favorite Pokemon from Generation 1. Let me go ahead and let you know right now that even though these placements are like this, I still like all these Pokemon. Squirtle and Wartortle are pretty cool Pokemon. I really like them a lot. I think Blastoise just kind of screws it up for me a little bit. Bulbasaur's also a cool Pokemon. Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee really helped with that and helped me get in love with him. And then Charmander I've always liked ever since I started liking Pokemon. Ever since I've seen what Charmander evolved into, I fell in complete love with him. So yeah, this is my choice for Generation 1. We're going to move on to Generation 2. Let me real quickly get everything erased here. Let me go. Oh god, it's going to take a while. Let me get a bigger eraser. Sorry about that. I'm trying not to erase the numbers though, because I'm going to still use the same numbers. I will also erase that Kanto at the top so we can start with the next one. Now, here's the thing about the next generation. I usually spell the region wrong. Like, I always get kind of mixed up. I think I might be able to get it right, because I think I quite don't remember what it is. But it seems like I always, like, get the two of the letters in the name mixed up. And I always put them in the wrong place. I think I'm about to do it again, actually, because I can't quite remember how you actually spell it. So, yeah, that's a problem. But again, I told you, like I said, my spelling's not going to be the best in the world. I'm just going to do the best I possibly can and go off of that. So, yeah. Let me go ahead and erase this. And erase your name, too. Make sure all of that's out of the way. Okay. Now, guys, we're going to go ahead and move on to Generation 2 real quick, which is one of my most favorite regions, actually. The next region we're going to is one of my most favorites. And it's one of the reasons why it's my most favorite is because of my actual favorite starter. If you want to know what starter that is before I even reveal it, you can just go watch my PBR videos, because I explain it way too much. Again, I mentioned in the beginning of this video, so if you weren't paying attention, you ain't gonna know what no order. It's the only starter I said in the beginning of this video. Does that give you a hint? So yeah. Anyway, the next generation we're gonna go to is Johto. Unfortunately, I cannot spell this region for the love of me. I don't know if this is how you spell it, but again, I'm going to spell it the best way I know. We're going to the Johto region next. The starters in Generation 2 Johto are the following. We got Chikorita, which evolves into Bayleaf and Meganium. We got Cyndaquil, which goes from Cyndaquil to Quilava to Typhlosion. And finally, we got Totodile, which goes from Totodile to Croconaw, and then finally to Feraligatr. So, to begin with, let me go and tell you right now that kind of like Generation 1, there's really no stars that I really don't like. Like, in a way, the last generation had Pokemon that were kind of like that too. Like I said, I really like Squirtle and Wartortle. I love Bulbasaur, Ivysaur, and Venusaur. I just think there's some things that kind of screw them over that could make them a lot better if it wasn't that case. Generation 2, I actually like all these Pokemon's evolutions, but I like them all a little bit more as well. As good as all their evolutions are, I have a favorite evolution line for all these Pokemon. I don't know if I'm going to spell this Pokemon's name right, but for the third place spot, we got, again, I don't know if I was, oh my lord, I don't know if I'll be able to spell this right. Let me fix that. Oh my god. Anyway, sorry about that. In third place, we actually got the grass type starter, which is... I have already spelled it wrong. Good God. I'll just say it before we actually write it down. We've got the grass type starter, Chikorita. I'm trying to think of how you spell it. I don't know if that's how you spell it, but leave me alone about the spelling. In third place, we got the grass type Pokemon, Chikorita. Now, as I just mentioned a while ago, all three of the starters for this generation are actually very cool, and no matter which way you look at it, even third place has a place in my heart. I love Chikorita, I love Bayleaf, and I love Meganium. They're all really cool looking Pokemon to me. The thing about this region that makes it a little bit harder, though, is like I said, I like all of the Pokemon's evolutions. That goes for every starter. But there's always one thing that kind of holds them back. With Chikorita, there's really nothing holding it back. It's the one point that holds it. The only Pokemon I think that gets held back by certain in their evolution is actually the fire type starter Cyndaquil, and I'll get to that whenever I actually get to him. But for now, let me go and let you know that Chikorita falls in last place for Johto. But no matter what, I will always like him. I love Chikorita. I think she's really insanely cute. The only thing I find annoying about Chikorita is that one Pokemon anime episode. The one with that annoying girl named Cassidy in it. Or whatever her name is. Cassidy or whatever. The one that was the Electabuzz fan, that episode. We are the Electabuzz and I don't care what the song says. Whatever. I don't care. I don't like it. I find it annoying. This girl... I think that's also another reason why I don't like Chikorita. Actually, I can't even blame that on Chikorita. It's more of the trainer's fault for that one. That trainer alone, I hate her. She is annoying as frick. Annoying. Very, very annoying. I can go on all day about how annoying she is. Like, that's nothing holding Chikorita back because it's more the trainer's fault more than it. I mean, Chikorita's just going along with what her trainer's doing. But the thing that girl, I hate her. She just, every time I see her, I just want to punch her. And that's probably one of the only Pokemon anime episodes where I honestly hate Team Rocket as well. Normally Team Rocket's like a really cool thing to see. That episode alone, I hate Team Rocket in that episode. Let's just say it that way. I hate Team Rocket in that episode. Once again, guys, that's nothing holding Chikorita back, that anime episode. But at the same time, like, that's just like the main thing I can remember when I think of Chikorita now, other than it being a starter. That's like one of the only things I can remember when I say the name Chikorita, or even like mention it in some way. Now, the next Pokemon that's going to take second place is the one that actually has the problem with it that screws it kind of up. That Pokemon... Yes. I can't spell its name. Again, guys, don't blame me for my spelling. Just understand that I'm going to spell it how it sounds. I know it may not be the right spelling, but again, I can't spell for the life of me. So yeah, I'll just... For you guys that don't know what it's spelling, I'll be saying it anyway. Oh my God! Cindy! Ignore that. I know, I can't spell for the life of me. Leave me alone. Cyndaquil. That's the second place. Cyndaquil. All joking aside, take that out. My second favorite starter for Johto is Cyndaquil. Cyndaquil has a really cool evolution. I really do like it a lot. But the problem is, here's the point that gets kind of held back. I just find Cyndaquil just a little bit weird to me. A lot of people think that Cyndaquil is really cute. But like I said, there's a lot of things about Cyndaquil that's really cute, but at the same time that kind of screws it up as well. Now, I know it sounds like a ridiculous thing to say that this is screwing up Chikorita, but I think the one thing that kind of messes it up is the fact that it either has no eyes, or the eyes are always shut like this. I hate that. I know it may sound like the weirdest thing to hear me say, because like, as I said in the beginning, most of the Pokemon that I hate are more human-based, more animal-based, or look more humans to me than animals. Cyndaquil is not one of those, but I think what they did with Quilava and Typhlosion was a lot better. I love the designs of both of those, and they're all very awesome. Cyndaquil is still cute for what it is, but to me, I think that one design where its eyes are closed just kind of screws it. And even if it didn't have that problem, there's no way a Pokemon's going to take the #1 spot from Johto. As you can tell from all the names down here, that only leaves one Pokemon. That Pokemon being... God, I wish I could spell. This is one of the Pokemon I actually know how to spell, though. My favorite starter from this generation is kind of obvious if you ask me, Totodile. Now, that's kind of plainly freaking obvious if you've watched me play my PBR videos. You see me do PBR on camera. Because, who is my freaking starter in that game, guys? Tell me that now. It's the evolved form of him. It's Feraligatr, the evolved form of him. I flippin' love Totodile, and I mention in almost every episode now how I wish Game Freak would pay him more attention. The Joestars themselves need a lot more attention, because the thing about it is, like, most of the Joestars don't get attention at all. And like I said, there's not many people that even like Totodile. From what I've seen has only been so far, I've only seen 5 people that has liked Totodile. I'll go and give shouts to some of them that I actually can remember. One of the people that like Totodile and all his evolutions is somebody named the United Gamer. He's a pretty good Pokemon YouTuber. He doesn't just do Pokemon videos, but he does a lot of them. And one of his favorite Pokemon is Totodile, along with Lucario. Another one of the people that is there is also somebody named M&J TV's girlfriend. It's not named that, but it's a YouTuber's girlfriend. It's called M&J TV. The girlfriend has a channel too, and it's called Jubilee, or Jubilee Bliss, or something like that. So yeah, shout goes to every channel I mention here. Well, like I said, there's not many channels that do like Totodile, and I'll go and give you a little hint. Out of the 5 people there that I was just mentioning, I only mentioned 2. Let me go and tell you, the 3rd one is me. Or like the 5th one or whatever would have been me. Out of all the 5 people, one of those would have been me. As you can obviously tell by this. I've always loved Totodile, but the thing with me is, Totodile's always had like a little personal connection with me. And for you guys that don't know what I'm meaning, he actually got me really into him when I played the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon game. Specifically, the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon game that I did a Let's Play for you about maybe 4 or 5 months ago. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Explorers of Sky, Time/Darkness. That game itself has a really good story. And I think honestly, Game Freak or whoever made the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon series did a really fantastic job with the story in that game. That's one thing that I kind of wish they did with Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX, and I think they pulled it off pretty well. When they first did Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX, I was kind of figuring, oh god, it's just going to be a remake of Red and Blue Rescue Team, which means the Pokemon ain't gonna like you. Because in Red and Blue Rescue Team, there was not many moments where it doesn't look like your partner is your friend. Like, literally, I think the only thing I think your partner actually sees you as is a rescue team helper, and that's about it. You never really grow a personal connection with the Pokemon you choose as your partner, and that's what I always hate about them. That's one thing that they did right in as Spores of Time, Darkness and Sky. In that game, like in most Mystery Dungeon games, I picked Totodile. And I think his personality fits really well in that. The minute he sees you passed out on that beach in that game, he's over there helping you. And along with that, he's already talking nicely to you and all of that. And you help him, and later on, when you're getting attacked by Coffin and Zubat, you help him, and then he thanks you, and then is like trying to get you to help him join the I don't know what they call it, the Expedition Society or Wigglytuff's Guild, that thing. Like, that game has a really good story to it, and along with that, he stays your friend throughout the entire game. Red and Blue Rescue Team, I swear it didn't seem like you were friends with your Pokemon, the partner you chose. And that's the thing about that game as well, or Red Rescue Team DX. They actually fixed the problems they had in Red and Blue Rescue Team. The only thing I think they could have done differently is made some of the freaking dungeons shorter. I would have done the post game of this game, but there's no way in the living heck I am doing 40 floors to that one dungeon. No. I could barely make it to the top of that freaking Sky Tower. What makes you think I want to do one that's 6 more floors than that? No. But a little bit of a tantrum aside, I'm going to tell you, those are the games that got me into Totodile to begin with. The thing that got me really into Totodile was during the storyline itself, especially the ending, for you guys that don't know. And let me go ahead and warn you right now, for you that haven't played the game. Spoiler alert, for you that haven't played the game. So if you don't want to hear the spoiler, pause the video and skip. But anyway, basically what happens is, at the end of the game when you beat Primal Dialga, you start going back to the human world. The partner that you have with you, in my case, Totodile, gets his heart completely broken in half. Kind of the same reaction I have whenever Feraligatr in PBR gets hurt. His heart gets crushed. So yeah, that game is also what got me really into Totodile to begin with. Like I said, I've always loved Totodile and I thought he was a really cool Pokemon. But that game is what really brought me a connection to him, and ever since then I feel like he's like my spirit Pokemon, or like my spirit kind of animal Pokemon. I shouldn't call it spirit animal Pokemon, just like Pokemon spirit friend, whatever. Whatever you want to call it. I feel like it could be one of those. So yeah, my favorite starter for Generation 2, Totodile. But like I said, Generation 2 also has a really good amount of starters. I love Chikorita and all his evolutions. Cyndaquil, the only thing that's holding it back is in its first evolution with its eyes just being like that. And then Totodile's always been really cute to me. I know most of everybody that talks about Totodile always kind of thinks about the middle evolution in a way too. Like they always say how Totodile's really cute and Feraligatr's like really awesome. But then you go on the Crocodile and he looks like a caveman. Or whatever, he just looks weird. I honestly personally like Crocodile. I mean, it's not the best middle stage evolution, but again, what middle stage evolution has really good, or is really good to begin with? There may be certain ones like Grovyle. Like, Grovyle's still a pretty cool Pokemon. But there's also Pokemon like Marshtomp. I freaking hate Marshtomp. I love Mudkip and I love Swampert, but Marshtomp is ugly as a living heck, and I hate it. And that's what happens with most of the starters as well. Totodile falls into one of those ones that look a little bit weird, but it's also really cute. I love Crocodile. So yeah, Totodile always be my number one. Actually, a fun little fact about the first 2 points I just talked about That's actually my favorite fire and favorite water type Pokemon. Totodile is literally my favorite water type Pokemon of all time. Nobody's replacing him. And Charizard is my favorite fire type Pokemon. My most favorite one. So yeah. Alright guys, we've had a little bit of a long tantrum with this one, but I was mainly talking about different things with Totodile. So yeah. Anyway, I'm going to go and erase these names, and we're going to go ahead and move on. Let me go ahead and get to it right now. Here we go. Let's go and erase these names. Once I get away from that 3, I'll put on a bigger eraser. Right now I just don't want to erase the numbers. Okay. Here we go. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these names real quick, and then I'll get rid of this at the top too. I'll go and get rid of this now. I know this is actually going to take a little while, but I think from here on out, I think the main 2 Pokemon I have a connection with we're in the 1st and 2nd generation. From here on out, my favorite starter is mainly my favorite starter because, like I said, they look a lot like an animal. That's the thing about Totodile and Charizard as well. I've always loved dragons, so he's always my favorite Kanto starter. And along with that, Tails is like a giant alligator on 2 legs, and I find that cool. The thing about Totodile also that I really like, and it's the same thing with Charizard. Let me go and explain that before I move on to Generation 3. We're going to go ahead and talk about the next region that's coming up, which is the hold on. The Hoenn region. I don't know if that's quite how you spell it, but again, don't blame for the spelling. Before I actually get to the Hoenn region Pokemon though, I'm going to go and explain something that also puts Totodile and Croconaut. Totodile and for... Oh my god, I can't say the right Pokemon. Charizard and Totodile, Croconaut, and Feraligatr at the top. One thing I also really like about them is their really simple design. Like, their design don't change much from each evolution. I find that really unique. And it don't make the Pokemon look too bad either. The only difference between Totodile and Feraligatr is literally just him being like 5 feet taller. Same thing with Charizard. He's only like 3 feet taller than Charmander. Like 3 feet 7 inches. So yeah. That's the thing about them. I like their designs, and their designs are very simple. Charmander, or Charizard, looks like just like a bigger Charmander, but with wings and all of that on him. Feraligatr, speaking of that, I didn't mean to do that. I meant to get on an eraser. Frick. And now after I was talking about, I got myself distracted. Charizard and Feraligatr have really simple designs, but I find that really unique in their own way. I really do like how Feraligatr is just like a giant version of Totodile. I love that a lot. I find that really cool. And that's something that also kind of helps some of the later stars in the game too. Later starters in every generation as well. We're going to go ahead and move on to our next generation now. And we're going to go ahead and move on to the Hoenn region. Now, the Hoenn region consists of the starters Torchic, which goes from Torchic to Combusken to Blaziken. Then we got Mudkip, which goes from Mudkip to Marshtomp to Swampert. And then we finally got Trico, who goes from Trico to Grovyle to Sceptile. Now that we've gotten out of the way, let me go ahead and rate what I think of the Pokemon from here on out. The third place spot for this one Let's see if I can find the right color for him. This one will have to do. Anyway, the third place spot. Some of y'all may be very disappointed in me for picking this. But it goes to Torchic. I'm going to go and say it right now. It's Torchic. Now, some of you guys may be weirded out and may be wondering, why in the world do I put Torchic in the last place spot when he's a really cool looking Pokemon? Well, starting in this generation, there's honestly a starter that I completely hate. Generation 1, like I said, I didn't really like Black One. I thought Venus was a little bit creepy, but at least in their own way, I still liked all the evolutions of them. Torchic's where it starts going out. Just, I'm not liking the Pokemon. Like I said, the third generation is also where that started out. And that starts with Torchic. Torchic's one of them Pokemon that falls into the category of looking like a little bit too much of a human for me. To me, it's just a little bit creepy, and I don't really like it that much. Torchic's really cute, but then from there, it just like goes downhill really fast. Combustion's just kind of ugly to me, and then along with that, Blazing is not much better. I mean, like, it's a little bit cooler looking, but I still find that thing very, very creepy. And I've never really been a big fan of it. I would love to explain it in more detail, but it's just hard for me to do it. So if you guys have any questions about that, or why I said certain stuff for a Pokemon, please leave them in the comments. Again, I can't explain I'm trying to explain them the best I can, but for you that don't understand, you can leave me questions. But please, if y'all don't leave questions, don't be mean with them. I'm asking you nicely just to, if you're going to ask a question, be like, something, be like, let's just give this example. Just ask, why do you not like blah blah blah? Why do you not like Torchic? That kind of thing. But if you're really gonna ask that question, you should listen to the video. Like I said, to me, I think from Torchic it kind of goes downhill because Torchic's kind of cute. Combustion looks a little bit weird to me, and then Blazing would be cool, but it didn't look too humanoid in a way. And plus, to me, it also looks a little bit creepy. I've never really liked it. I don't know. Well, if you thought Torchic was bad, it gets a little bit better, but a little bit weirder with, not weirder per se, but it gets a little bit better, I guess you could say, with, other than my next entry. The next Pokemon that's gonna be on this list for the Hoenn region, my second favorite Pokemon is, let me go and say it right now, Mudkip. Do you like Mudkips? I'm sorry, I've been hearing that a lot lately, so if that is an old meme, please don't get me on that. I just had to say it since Mudkip was the next one I was going through. And plus, it brings you a little bit more entertainment while I'm trying to write the names down. Anyway, to me, Mudkip is a really cool Pokemon. And for you guys that might be saying that, you may be wondering, well, okay, why was it not number 1? There's always at least one thing holding a Pokemon back. For Mudkip, just like with Cyndaquil, it's something in their evolution. And that evolution, oh my gosh, that evolution being Marshtomp. Marshtomp is ridiculously ugly. Let's just say it right now, I don't like Marshtomp at all. I find Mudkip to be extremely cute, and I love him to bits and pieces. Swampert is freaking awesome. And he's one of my favorite water-type Pokemon, along with Feraligatr. He's not number 1. He's not my favorite water-type, like Feraligatr is. But Swampert himself could just be having number 1 entry. I love Swampert. And if I was judging Pokemon based on their final evolution, I think it'd be a close match between Swampert and the Pokemon that's at number 1. So yeah, I think Mudkip is really cute and I really love him to bits and pieces. However, Swampert is freaking ugly. I mean, not Swampert. Marshtomp is freaking ugly. Swampert is awesome. And I'm sorry for accidentally saying your name wrong, Swampert. You're awesome. Your middle evolution, though, is not. Marshtomp is freaking ugly. I don't like it at all. You're really cute as a Mudkip, and I love Swampert. But Marshtomp screws your whole thing up. I think, and that's the thing also about the first place. The thing about some of these Pokemon is one of the reasons why they're not number one is because of one evolution. The last Pokemon on this list is actually one that does not have anything wrong with its evolutions, and I think it's really cool in every way. That last Pokemon being Treecko! Treecko! God, if I can't even spell his name right, I'm just gonna spell this wrong. I don't know if I'm spelling this right again, but yeah. The first place spot goes to Treecko. Now, as I've mentioned with the first two starters, the thing about these two starters right here, the one I got my hands in between, is that they always have something wrong with them or something I don't like about them. Torchic gets worse over time. I do not like Combuskin that much, and again, the same thing with Blaziken. Don't like him that much. With Mudkip, the only thing I don't like about him, which also put him over Torchic, the only thing that's horrible about him is Marshtomp. I think if Marshtomp looked a little bit better or didn't look as creepy, I think he'd honestly be one of my most favorite Pokemon as well. Treecko, however, is probably one of the middle stage evolutions that don't get hindered. I love Treecko, I love Grovyle, and I love Sceptile. All three of the evolutions are freaking awesome. And I think that, like I said, that's something that don't hinder Treecko like it does Mudkip and Torchic. I love all three evolutions of Treecko, and I think they're all really cool. Treecko's really cute and awesome looking Pokemon. Grovyle's still really cool looking, but not having that creepy look. And then Grovyle. Sceptile is freaking awesome. I love him. That's all I really gotta say about Treecko. Like, he's just the best starter to me in this region because of how he looks and how his evolution looks. That's something I did forget to mention in the episode, though, guys. I didn't mean to mention before I started this that most of the Pokemon alone were being based off of humans. If a Pokemon was more like a human, I probably don't like it as much. I also meant to say that also it depends on how the evolution looks. If a Pokemon has a really cool design through and through, it has a better chance of being up there. Hence why Treecko was number one as well, because I talked about how all his evolutions are cool. Mudkip has one awful evolution that kind of screws him out of that, but he's still really cool because I love Mudkip and I love Swampert. Torchic gets screwed over right after Torchic, as Torchic is pretty cute. Combuskin, plain weird. Blaziken, don't like it. Let's just say it right now. Don't like it. So yeah. I know you guys are going to give me some hate for some of this, but please understand my choices. This is something else I forgot to mention. These Pokemon picks are my opinion. You guys don't have to like Treecko as much as I do. You guys don't have to love Charizard or Frogger as much as I do. But please respect my opinion, what I think of a Pokemon. If I love a Pokemon that you guys, or if I love a Pokemon that you guys don't like as much, and you think another Pokemon should be on there, leave me your suggestions of what. Leave me your favorite Pokemon starters. This is mine. Let me have my own opinion. It's all I ask. Alright. Let's move on. We're about halfway through the list now, guys. We're going on to Generation 4, which is a pretty cool generation in my opinion. I think the generations really didn't start getting bad until Kalos, which is the 6th generation. Like, Generation 1 through 5 was, or no, yeah, Generation 1 through 5 was pretty cool. I have to say that right now. Generation 1 through 5 was pretty cool. I love Kanto, I love Johto, I love Hoenn, and I love Sinnoh. However, Generation 5's Unova region is pretty cool too. It's just that the game kind of got ruined for me when I found I could never beat it. Like, the story of Black and White is really cool, and I loved it a lot. I just never could beat it, so I never really got into it. Once I finally got pulled to level 100, we destroyed everybody in there. And, I liked the whole story of the game. So, yeah. I think we are done with that project, guys. I did say we were going to actually try to use the Legendary, and I was going to try to do the post-game, but honestly, I don't think there's going to be any post-game really to go to. So yeah, it's kind of like PBR right now. Think about once you beat the game, there's really nothing you can do but restart doing some of the other costumes you've done before. Let me go ahead and tell you before I actually erase these starters, I'm probably actually going to have to end up maybe doing other Coliseums before I actually beat the game. If I want to do the Courtyard Coliseum, like knockout battles or whatever they call them, before we get to the survival battles, I'm going to have to do it before I beat the game, otherwise we are not going to be able to do anything. I am going to let you know that sometime either today or tomorrow I'm going to make a video on PBR doing the restarted game. However, once we get to the Sunset Coliseum, I'm going to stop the video and try to beat it off camera with music, with the volume all the way down, because if I don't, I'm going to be ticked off. I hate the Sunset Coliseum. I'm also shocked that I beat that one the other day. So yeah, I don't like that Coliseum at all, though, and I have a bad feeling we're going to completely fail. We'll have to see, though. Anyway, guys, enough rambling. Let's go ahead and go on to the next generation. The only thing I really don't like about doing it this way is that we have to... I have to sit here and keep erasing them while I have excuse me. Really nothing to talk about. So yeah. And just think about this, guys. We're only halfway through and it's already been like over an hour. That's kind of bad. We may have to hurry it up, or else this thing may go dead on me, and then I will be screwed. So I will probably kind of have to speed this up a little bit. Let me go ahead and real quick erase all of these Pokemon. I'm trying to make sure there ain't no more, like... I'm trying to make sure I didn't miss many spots. I see one right there where my glasses is, right there. There we go. I see one right here, too. So, yeah. Anyway, now we're moving on to one of my favorite... or a really cool region in the Pokemon games. It's actually another one of my favorite regions in the entire game. That one being the region of... well, let me see if... again, I don't know if I'll be able to spell this right, but please don't blame me for that. Sinnoh. Sinnoh is a pretty cool region, but let me go ahead and... before we actually continue on through Sinnoh, since we're about halfway through, let me go and tell you right now that Sinnoh is actually one of my most favorite regions. But if I had to pick my favorite region out of everything in Pokemon, I'd honestly probably pick the Johto region. And it's only mainly because of Feraligatr and Totodile. I like, but along with that, I also love like a lot of the Pokemon that live in that generation, especially Pokemon like Ampharos. Lugia being one of my favorite legendaries also really helps that out, so yeah. But Sinnoh's another one of them regions that I really do cherish and I like a lot. I think the main problem I could have with the Sinnoh region is that it took a while for me to beat Diamond and Pearl and Platinum. So yeah. Anyway. The three starters of the Sinnoh region are the following. We got the choice of Chimchar, which goes from Chimchar to Monferno to Infernape. Then we got Piplup, who goes from Piplup to Prinplup, and then to Empoleon. And then finally we got Turtwig, which goes from obviously Turtwig to Grotto to Torterra. Now, unfortunately with this region, this also brings about some of the hardest decisions ever in the entire game. I obviously know which one of these Pokemon is my favorite one, but it's hard to pick out which one's going to be the bottom two. Because, honestly, the Pokemon that I'm going to list on number 2 and number 3 could have been switched around or been close to it. Because I don't like... There's certain evolutions in each of them that I freaking hate. And I'm going to get to that in a minute. Anyway, the third place for the Sinnoh region actually goes to... It actually goes to the water type starter. Well, if I can spell this right. It goes to the water type starter, Piplup. Now, here's the thing about Piplup. It's falling into that same category of being just an ugly crap Pokemon. Piplup in general is not ugly, and I love it a lot. But Empoleon is where they really screwed up. Most people would think that, like, Piplup actually, like, just starts getting worse when it becomes Prinplup. But I honestly don't think that Prinplup was too bad. I think where the trouble really starts is in its final evolution, Empoleon. Empoleon is ugly as frick. I know I'm going to be getting a lot of hate for that, but I hate Empoleon a lot. I hate it. I hate it. There's no way it's going to change that. I hate Empoleon a lot. I just never really been a big fan of it, and that's what screws up Piplup really badly. Piplup and Prinplup ain't too bad, but when it gets to Empoleon, that's all I say about it. Like, it's just plain ugly to me. I don't like it. And actually, the same thing goes for the second place Pokemon. It's the exact same problem as Piplup, but with a different evolution line and a different Pokemon. My second place choice goes to... I know some of you are going to be raging at me for this as well, but it's going to go to Chimchar. Again, I know a lot of you guys are raging at me for putting Chimchar on second place, but honestly, just like Piplup, it suffers stuff that, if it didn't suffer, it probably would be top. Like I said with a lot of these Pokemon already, I just mentioned it with Piplup, and there's been point in the past that it has fallen to that too. Hint, Blastoise has failed to this. So yeah. Chimchar, I'm sorry, but you suffer from Infernape. I just don't like when a Pokemon just looks too ugly for me. I think, honestly, here's the thing. I think Chimchar is freaking adorable. I think he's like a really cool Pokemon. Monferno is really cool too, and I love Monferno. I just like the look of Monferno. But they really screwed up whenever they told me that Monferno evolves into Infernape. Now, to me, just like Empoleon, it's just plain ugly to me. And again, I'm going to get a lot of hate for that. But honestly, I have my own choices, and I pick the Pokemon I like the best. Hence why I like Feraligatr so much, and hence why I like Charizard so much. You know? And even the same reason for the Hoenn starters, why I said that I like Trico, mainly because it don't have an ugly evolution, while Mudkip did. Mudkip had Marshtomp, and if it were next to that, I think Mudkip would honestly been number one. Or close to number one, and been like really close between each other. So yeah, that's what Chimchar again lacks in. I just mentioned a while ago how most of the Pokemon I like are based off of animals, but I also don't want it to be like an ugly looking animal. Unfortunately, Infernape looks like kind of an ugly monkey to me. I know if Infernape actually heard me say that, he would be blaze kicking me right in the face right now. But honestly, I don't give a crap. I don't like Infernape. Let me make that clear to everyone right now. I know most of you are getting out your pitchforks and ready to it'll burn me at the stake. But hear me out. I just don't like it. I have my own opinions. There's a lot of Pokemon I don't like because they're freaking ugly. Jinx is one of those, but it falls into both of those categories. It falls into the category of looking too much like a human, but at the same time being ugly as frick. Too much humanoid, or too much like a human, being ugly. That's already gonna put you as one of my least favorite Pokemon of all time. In fact, if I made a top 10 least favorite Pokemon list, I think Jinx might be on that. Or like a top 15 or a top 20, Jinx would definitely be on there somewhere. That's what Chimchar suffers from, but at least with Chimchar, he has some cute things about him. Chimchar is insanely cute, and I love him. Monferno, I love the look of Monferno. I think that's what his final evolution should be, except a lot bigger version of that. Inferno just screws everything out of that and then just balls up. It balls up any chance it had, it balls it up and just throws it in the trash. Infernape screws it. And again, I know most of you are getting mad at me because I'm saying crap about Infernape, but any Pokemon I think is ugly, I think is ugly. Leave it alone, guys. It's my opinion. I will have to keep making that clear. It's my opinion. Whatever Pokemon I think is cool, I think is cool. You guys can have a different opinion, but please respect mine. Anyway, we're going to finish off the Sinnoh region with the final Pokemon. And my most favorite Pokemon of that region, which is the cute little Turtwig. I love Turtwig. I didn't even need to mention that, though, because that was the only Pokemon missing from the list. I flippin' love Turtwig. I think he's really adorable. He's really lovable. Now, one thing I can definitely say about him, unfortunately, is in a way he does have an ugly evolution, but it's at least more withstanding. I didn't used to like Torterra that much, mainly because of its design, but as I've used it more in games, I actually have come to really love Torterra, and I don't think it actually screwed up its evolution at all. Like I said, I never used to be the biggest fan of Torterra, but I always used to love Turtwig and Grotto, and I think he's a really cool starter. Torterra again still was kind of a little bit creepy to me, but it doesn't go way beyond to where it's like, you know, Empoleon looks really ugly to me, or Infernape looks really ugly to me. Turtwig, or like its evolutions, don't look too bad. And I actually really like them a lot. I've really grown to really love them. And like, if I've ever said anything bad about them, or anything about bad with Torterra, I would go and tell you I'm really sorry. The only thing I have to say badly about Turtwig, or like Torterra in general, is just it has so many weaknesses. The only thing I can say horrible about Turtwig, God, so many weaknesses whenever he evolves into Torterra. He's weak to fire, bug, flying, fire, 4 times weak to ice. That's the only thing I have to say that's awful about him, while all the other Pokemon don't really have that kind of weaknesses. I know Infernape is weak to flying, water, and maybe ground. Maybe rock, but I don't think so. It might be neutral because of the fact that it's part of fighting. But I know it's at least weak to flying, water, and maybe ground. Prinplup, I think he's weak to electric, ground, and maybe fighting. Honestly, I'm not the best at remembering type matches, but I know a lot more than I used to. I didn't used to know much types or how the type matchup worked. Once I started playing Pokemon and getting into it, I started learning it a lot. When I first did my Let's Play Sun and Moon, it completely sucked because I had a god-awful team. I don't remember all of my team, but I remember me having a Caterpie, and I also had me a, Jeez. I also remember me having, I think, like, Granbull or something. I remember I didn't used to know nothing about Pokemon. I just got into it and started playing the games. And I remember, like, I remember the first time I ever got a Master Ball in a Pokemon game, I remember throwing it at a Granbull. I'm not even flipping joking with you guys. I threw my Master Ball at a Granbull. But again, I think I kind of fell for the trap of it saying catching any Pokemon without fail, and I was thinking, ooh, let me go catch me this Pokemon just randomly. Boop. You know, but at the time I also didn't think about the legendaries. I don't remember I even caught the legendary of the game or not because of me using it. I don't quite remember. So yeah, that is my starter choice for the Sinnoh region. I love Turtwig, Grotto, and Torterra. I love them all so much. If I had to give one complaint, all the weaknesses, but other than that, he's a great Pokemon. Chimchar, really freaking cute. Monferno, pretty cool monkey. And Fernape, ugly as frick. Piplup, cute as crap. Primplup, not as bad as other people make it out to be. I actually do like Primplup at least a little bit. And Empoleon, ew. That's the only thing I gotta say about it. Ew. Ugly as frick. So yeah. Let's get to Generation 5. The Unova region. Okay, let me go and erase this again. I'm just gonna take forever. Alrighty. The next region we're actually going to be going through is the 5th generation's Unova region. Honestly, I've never even been a big fan of the Unova region to begin with until I got to play Pokemon Black and White. I played a long time ago, but I ended up never beating it, and there's been several reasons for that. I'll explain that in a second, but let me go ahead and get this erased first. Before I actually name any of the starters out, I want to go ahead and explain to you guys why I never actually beat the game up until the Let's Play I did. I've actually about beaten the game. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot about that. That could have been bad. Anyway, guys, let me go and let you know right now. I have actually about beaten the Unova region's games on several occasions. I've almost beat Black and White on different occasions, but different things has caused me to not beat it. I'm sorry for the godful spelling again. Please don't blame me for that. Anyway, I know it may not look good, but I tried to make that say the Unova region. Before I actually did up the starters, let me go and let you know. One of the main reasons why I never actually beat the Pokemon Black and White game was because of different reasons. A long time ago, I don't remember if I was trying to do a Let's Play of it, but I remember actually playing the game and doing really good and getting up to the part where, around the part where you fight Sharon for the last time before you go on up to Victory Road or whatever. Now, what ended up happening was during that battle, or around that battle, my 3DS ended up about dying on me. It was ended up about to die. Unfortunately, however, I was in the middle of a battle, which means I couldn't save. So what I had to real quickly do was I had to go where my charger was and just plug it up and turn the volume all the way down and leave it on and hope that nobody turned it off, or I can keep an eye on it. Here's what happened though. Long story short, later on that night, I fell asleep. Next morning I woke up, 3DS was turned off. All the data I had, all that from that point forward, deleted. And along with that, we actually asked a bunch of people if anybody turned it off. We found out that the person that I call the interrupter in these videos actually turned it off and screwed me up. And then I tried doing a game the game again a few months later. The thing didn't get turned off this time, and I actually made it to Victory Road. But my Pokemon were so underleveled, or not leveled up enough, to the point where my Pokemon ended up fainting. And so, just like with the little panic attack I have with every Pokemon getting hurt now, like I do with Feraligatr and PBR, I just dadgum gave up. after I think Zep Striker went down due to some kind of attack, and I was just like, "That's it, I'm done. Screw it," and I just quit. And like this is the first time I've beaten Pokemon Black and White like officially. I did on camera for you guys, and I think if I didn't get up on level 100, I would have never done it to begin with. I would like to continue it. It's just that like there's really nothing I can do in the game. I should probably name that in the last video I made of Pokemon Black and White is my final one. I'll probably do that in editing later on, but for now I'm fine without it. Anyway, off of that story, I'm going to go and tell you the starters for the Unova region. The starters for Unova. First off, we have Oshawott, the water-type starter, which goes from Oshawott to Dewott to Samurott. Next, we have Tepig, which goes from Tepig to Pignite to Emboar. And finally, we have Snivy. Oh my god. Sorry, we have Snivy, which goes from Snivy to Servine to Superior. Enough about that. Let me go ahead and list them off. Again, most of you guys are probably going to end up getting out your pitchforks and getting out your torches right now to burn me at the stake. For some of you might be on my side. But my third place choice for the Unova region is actually let me go and put it in. You guys can probably already tell what I'm writing. That's right. My least favorite starter for this region is literally Tepig. And if you've been listening to my things in the past, you know exactly why this thing just falls in the bottom of the list. It has some of the worst evolution like I've seen in my entire life. Tepig is really cute, and I do like Tepig a lot. However, starting after that, when it evolves into Pignite, everything falls apart. Every chance that Tepig had being one of my favorite Pokemon, goodbye. It's out the window. Pignite ain't as ugly as people make it out to be to me. Like, I still kind of like it in a way, but it always screws itself when it evolves in Emboar. Emboar is ugly as freak. It goes for the same thing for Marshtomp from Gen 3, and oh god, what's the one I just mentioned earlier, Gen 4? Empoleon, sorry, that's the name. Empoleon and Infernape, but Empoleon especially. That's what Tepig kind of suffers from being well, Tepig is really cute, but from there on it just gets uglier and uglier and uglier, and no. Leave me out of it. My second place choice actually goes to the water type starter for that region. I don't know how to spell any of its names, so I'm just going to spell Dewott the best I can. You know what? I was thinking I'll just do Oshawott. I don't know how you spell those. I know this ain't how you spell it, but leave me alone about it. Alright? You've already got your pitchforks probably ready to burn me at the stake with some of my choices I've already made today. You may be thinking, well, why would you put Oshawott in the second place spot anyway? I mean, he was your starter for Pokemon Black and White to begin with. Yes, guys, you are actually right. He was. But he's not actually my most favorite starter. I really like Oshawott and I really like Samurott. Most people don't like Samurott, but I actually do like the design for him. I think he's pretty cool. The problem really lies the problem with this one is mainly it's mainly just like kind of a tiebreaker in a way, What I mean by that is the one thing that kind of sets this Pokemon apart from like my first place pick is depending on their evolution itself. I actually like all three evolutions in my first place pick, and I do kind of like all three evolutions for Oshawott. However, if I had to pick at least favorite out of the three that's or the six that's here, it would have to be from the Oshawott line with Dewott. Dewott ain't as bad as I thought he was, but I still don't like him. I think just the design of him's not the best at all. Like, seriously, I'm not that big of a fan with him. So, yeah. He kind of falls into the category of being one I don't really like that much. Mainly because of Dewott, though. I think Oshawott's really cute, and I think Samurot's a really cool looking Pokemon. But the thing about my number one choice is I like all three evolutions of him without having any problems with him. And if you can already guess from the two Pokemon on the screen right here, my favorite Pokemon is actually the Grouse type Pokemon, Snivy. Now, I've always really liked Snivy from the Unova region. I thought, in my opinion, that the Unova Stars were kind of like the letdown. Honestly, I think in a way, Game Freak kind of went downhill after Gen 5. Gen 1 through 4 had some really cool starters, and I think they really did good with those. Gen 5 had some pretty alright starters. I really liked Snivy, and I really liked Oshawott. But after Gen 5, they went downhill god-awfully. I don't like the Gen 6 stars all that much except for one. Gen 7 stars, still not that cool. I mean, I've grown to love some of them more, but at the same time, still not my most favorite ones. And then Gen 8, again, has most of the stars I don't like except for one. As you've heard with me mention with some of these earlier ones, I've had one that I liked in some way, shape, or form. In Generation 1, I had no least favorite Pokemon, it's just that one thing screwed them up. I really like the Squirtle and Wartortle, and I've also liked the Bulbasaur and all his evolutions. But Charizard has nothing wrong with him, and I really liked him. Generation 2 doesn't even suffer the same problems. Generation 2, there's nothing wrong with them. The only thing I think I really have to complain about is the thing I was talking about with Chikorita's part, where I was saying how like that girl that had the Chikorita in anime really annoyed me. Other than that, there's really nothing wrong with the starters to begin with. Totodile in anime was really adorable, and I like how he would dance all the time. It was so cute. And I've always liked Cyndaquil too. It's just I like Quilava and Typhlosion better. And the same thing with Chikorita as well. I love all three evolutions of Chikorita, but the only thing I can really think of when I think of that starter is a stupid Cassidy girl from the anime. She gets on my nerves. So yeah. Snivy, the thing that goes for him though is his evolution actually looks really cool. Despite him basically being a grass snake Pokemon, and I don't like snakes, I actually do like Snivy a lot, and he's a really cool starter. Our fun little fact, guys, the only reason that, I think I mentioned this in my Let's Play, but I can't quite remember. The only reason why I picked Oshawott for my starter in that game was because I needed my Pokemon to know an ice move so it could take care of the Dragon Gem. But at that time, I didn't know that Crocodile could learn. And there's the battery, see what I mean? I didn't know that he could... Oh, frick. I didn't know he could... I can't think, I gotta hurry. I'm sorry about that, guys. Let me get this pulled up. Let's see if it stops it. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, that completely screwed up my thought, but I had a bad feeling the thing would go dead if I didn't do something quick. I don't remember what I was actually talking about now. I think I was talking about something with snakes, but I can't quite remember what it actually was now. I'm gonna go and tell you, despite Snivy being a grass snake Pokemon, especially when it fully evolves, I've never really been a big fan of snakes, and I might have told you guys a wrong story. I did tell you that the only time I really liked the snake Pokemon was in Generation 8 when they made Sandaconda. But if Snowy's actually supposed to be a grass snake, then never mind. I do like Servine a lot. I mean, I like Superior a lot. I would honestly pick him for my Let's Play Pokemon Black and White, but I didn't know at the time that Crocodile could learn Outrage and stuff like that. And I also didn't think that I was going to try on pulling to level 100. I didn't know I was going to do that yet or not. So yeah. I did think I have something else to tell you guys about this one, but the computer about dying screwed me, and I can't remember everything I was going to talk about. I hadn't expected the thing to actually die that quick. I was expecting it to stay on longer. I only stayed on for an hour and a half without about dying. That's kind of a problem. Anyway, guys, we only got like 3 more generations left, but also here's the generations are going to start going a lot quicker, because I really can't tell you why I don't like these Pokemon coming up. Except that like they look a lot cooler than the other ones. So yeah, we're going to kind of have to hurry up and finish this one. Let's go ahead and erase all of these stars. And we'll go ahead and get the next ones going. I'm going to go ahead and get Snowy's name erased, and I'll go ahead and also erase the Unova part up here. There we go. Let's erase you too, Oshawott. By the way, guys, like I said, the next you guys should know the next region we're going to, because we've already went through 5 of them. If you guys know the 6th generation, you should know what's coming up next. And we just get Tepig erased off of here, and we should be good to go. Alright. So we're getting close to the end of this, guys. We're over halfway done now. And we only got about 3 more generations to cover. Generation 6, 7, and 8. Our next one is the 6th generation Pokemon. And that region is actually the Kalos region. I don't remember if Kalos is spelled C-O-L-A-S or C-A-L-O-S or something. I'm gonna spell it like this. I don't know if it's completely right. Nope, that's wrong. I think it's C-O-L-A-S. Either way, stop blaming me for our spelling. The starters from this region are the following. You have Froakie, which goes from Froakie to Frogadier to Greninja. Then you got Jespin, which goes to Jespin to Quilladin to Chestnut. And finally, you have Venuken, which goes from Venuken to Braixen to Delphox. Like I said, from this point forward, guys, the starters, I can't really give a very good description on why I like these starters. The main reason from this point forward is literally just because whether they're ugly or not ugly compared to their other evolutions. Coming in 3rd place, I'm sorry for anybody that likes this Pokemon, but the Pokemon that's in 3rd place is gonna be, if I could spell, that would be Peachy right now, Trenton. I'm sorry about that. Anyway, as you can probably already tell by the letter right there, the Pokemon that's in 3rd place is the grass-type Pokemon of the region, Jespin. Again, I'm sorry I spelled it completely wrong. Shut up. My spelling is not the best. Don't judge me. As you can tell though, Jespin is my least favorite starter of all time from the Kalos region. Just like most of the other Pokemon coming before it, it is ugly as frick when it evolves. Game Freak, I think, really screwed up with this Pokemon. Could have something way better. As Jespin, this Pokemon is pretty cute. Quilladin, what did you do? What did you do, Quilladin? Did you eat a lot of chocolate before you daggum evolved or something? Because you somehow just turned into a big old round blob. What in the world? Like, he literally looks like he ate a whole bunch of candy and got really fat before he evolved. That's what it literally looks like to me. Ugly as crap is what he is. Ugly as crap. I can only do the. I can't do anything else. But ugly as crap he is. Jespin is not ugly, but Quilladin, and the same thing for Chestnut. Chestnut is just plain ugly. To the U, to the G, to the L, to the Y. Ugly as crap. Like I said, from this point forward, that's only been my explanation for the rest of the Pokemon coming up here. For Generation 1 and 2, I had a connection because of something. Charizard, I've always liked because he's a dragon, and since he looked like a dragon, I always liked him. For Alligator, or Totodile in general, I grew an attachment to because of Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, and because of that, I feel like I have a really close attachment to him. So yeah. And like all their stars from Generation 3 and up, I really don't have a connection with, but I really love the bits and pieces. I could say I have a connection with Torterra because I've used him in PBR before, and that's honestly, I think, I'm about to say that's also what got me with Totodile, but PBR is what lets me have fun with Totodile or for Alligator without where I can actually use them. Because there's not many games that feature Totodile in it, so I can take any game I'll have with them in it. When I found out you can transfer for Alligator over to the PBR, that really made this game fun for me. I love the announcer for this game, but there's no way this game would have never lasted like a whole 140 videos when it's for Alligator. There'd have been no way in the living heck it would have lasted. Especially if it wouldn't let you transfer Pokemon over. If it wouldn't let you, this game would have gotten horned within the first, 10 parts of it. I probably wouldn't even be doing many extra videos. For Alligator and all the Pokemon that you can transfer over, the only reason that this game is still going. But you can especially thank for Alligator for it. For hours, the only reason that series has still been going to begin with. So yeah. Anyway. Oh my gosh, can I stop yawning, please? Anyway, from here, the evolutions ain't. Well, the evolutions coming up now are kind of ugly, but not too bad. After Jespin, the next Pokemon that gets to be on the list is the Fire-type Pokemon, Vennekin. Now, Vennekin, I actually don't really mind about that much. I don't know how you spell it. Again. I don't know. Again, quit judging me. Vennekin, in my opinion, is actually not that bad of an evolution. I think in a way they could have done a lot better on it, but it ain't as ugly as Jespin. Jespin, right after Jespin, it just becomes ugly. At least with Vennekin, I actually kind of like its evolution in some way. Braixen's not the best looking Pokemon, but I like it better than I do some of the other ones. So yeah. Even Delphox I really don't mind about. Honestly, I think it wouldn't. I think if Froakie never existed, I think Vinikin will be my starter for that region. I actually really don't mind about Vinikin that much. People really complain about how, like, Vinikin, after when it wasn't a breaks and then the Delphots, it's really ugly and it's not likable anymore. But honestly, I think I would actually really, I think if Froakie never existed, Vinikin would be my number one choice. Especially if I did see the starters for the Pokemon, I would think this thing is again probably really fat and ugly, and then go with Vinikin right away. Unless the Pokemon they replaced Froakie with was a lot better. Speaking of replace the starter, that actually reminds me, a fun little fact about Totodile. They actually weren't going to have Totodile a long time ago. I actually watched a video online a long time ago that actually talked about how they were going to have different starters for Generation 2. Chikorita was going to stay in there, but Cyndaquil or Totodile would never existed. They just decided to scrap the starters that was originally going to be in there and put Totodile and Cyndaquil in there. Which I have to tell you, this Game Freak, good job. Let me just tell you right now, you've gave me one of my most favorite Pokemon ever. I love Totodile and I love Cyndaquil. Thank you for not scrapping them, and thank you for actually putting them in the game. Especially Totodile. But please, can I ask you in the future, by the way guys, if Game Freak ever sees this, which I highly doubt they will, but Game Freak, let me ask you, please put Totodile in more games. I really want to have a game where I can really pick Totodile and get him easily. Like, where I can just find him in the wild early in the game and I can get him on my team. Please, Game Freak, if you ever make a game in the future, please do something where you can put Totodile in the game again. Please. Anyway, off that topic, as you can probably already tell, the only Pokemon that's missing from that one is the water-type Pokemon, which is Froakie. I think Froakie's a really cool Pokemon, and like his evolution ain't that bad. I actually really do like Frogadier a lot. I think Frogadier looks really cool, and I really like Greninja a lot too. I think the only problem I have, I think the only problem with a certain part of the starter, but with a certain evolution is the following. But never mind, actually, I do really like this starter a lot. Froakie's a really cool Pokemon. It's my favorite one of the Gen 6 starters. Like I said, guys, from here, it won't be much of an explanation for the Pokemon. The main explanations I had to go through was from Gen 1 all the way through, like, Gen 5. Gen 6, 7, and 8 won't have very much of an explanation. Gen 8 may have a little bit of an explanation, but Gen 6 and 7 don't expect much. So, yeah. Anyway, that's it for the Kalos region. Let's keep going. I will go ahead and make sure and see if there's any spots I left. I'm going to put my face near the screen where I can see the spots. If there's any like things I didn't see that I need to erase, I'll go and do that before I even write the next region. Which we're only 2 regions away now. We went through Kalos and now we got left is Alola in the new Galar region. So yeah. Before I actually even get to that though, let me make sure whether there's any stuff on the screen that I didn't see. I don't see anything. I'm trying to look around the numbers. Oh, I didn't see anything, and there's something right here. Wow, that was a big spot I didn't see. Huh, dang. Travis, there's nothing else. I don't see anything else. I think that's it. Okay. Guys, we're finally on to our last 2 regions of Pokemon that's out so far. We're going to basically the Hawaii-based region of Pokemon. We're going to Alola. I do not know how to spell that. I'm like, we're going to Alola. I don't know how to spell that. Okay. Our second to last region. Oh wow, I see a spot now. Of course, I see a spot when I'm about to write something. Is that not perfect? There's one right here. There's a little blue spot right here. About right here where my finger's pointing at right now. Right there. But yeah. I think that's it. Let me make sure one more time. I'm sorry. The fact that I missed that tiny little speck tells you that there's probably still something somewhere I ain't seeing. I don't see anything. Okay, we might be good this time. Okay, sorry about that. Anyway, let's try it again. We're gonna try going back to a low. We're going back. We're gonna go to Aloha. So yeah, let's write that down right now. That is a god awful way. Aloha. Alright, so let's really go ahead and finish this off because my battery actually about died a while ago. I want to go ahead and get back in there because I may end up having to take a nap. I may not be able to, I'm going to go and tell you something before I actually get to the Aloha starters. I may not be able to play PBR as much in this episode because like I said, I am a little bit tired. I do not want to fall asleep or be tired while playing that game for y'all, so I might end up waiting until sometime after I take a nap. So yeah, I'm going to let you know about that right now. But anyway, off that topic, we're going to go ahead and go through the Alola starters. The starters for Alola are the following. We got the option of Rowlet, the Grouse type Pokemon, which goes from Rowlet to Dartrix, and finally to Decidueye. And then our next starter is we got Litten, which would go from a fire type Pokemon Litten to Torracat, which is the second evolution, and the final evolution, Incineroar. So yeah, and finally we got Popplio, which goes from Popplio to Brionne to Primarina. And so yeah guys, let me real quick go ahead and run through my favorite starters for this generation. Now again, most of these generations y'all are going to be wanting to stab me with pitchforks. I'm just going to say that right now. Most of these generations you're going to want to stab me with pitchforks. Because most of the porn that most of you probably like are end up on the bottom of my list. But honestly, like I said, I'm just not into all everybody's favorite Pokemon. Not many people like Totodile. He's probably like one of the least popular, other than Chikorita, he's probably one of the least popular picked. I watched some list of like people's favorite starter Pokemon. So far, I haven't watched many, but 2 out of the 3 that I watched actually picked Totodile as their favorite one. That's like I said, I've only watched 3 videos. So yeah, I don't know completely yet. But every other video I've watched seemed to have Totodile in the second place. Like even if it ain't their favorite, it put them in second place. So yeah. Again, like I said, most of these entries probably make you want to just light me on fire or like burn me at the stake like a witch. Because I said something bad about your favorite Pokemon. But honestly, like I said, I've never really been a big fan of the popular Pokemon, unless the popular Pokemon is one now like Feraligatr or Charizard. I guess in a way it could be possible because Charizard was really one of the most popular Pokemon to begin with. People actually hate Charizard because he's so popular and he gets so much attention. But yet at the same time, people don't say nothing about Totodile. Like, I've heard M&J, I think, one of my favorite YouTubers called M&J TV actually say that, like, he don't like Totodile because of, like, I can't remember the exact reason, but he said something about, like, not liking Totodile for a specific reason. And I can't remember what that reason is, and it's been a while since I've heard about it. So yeah. Anyway, off the Johto stars, I've been telling you a lot about him lately. Let's go ahead and finish this up, guys. The video's almost been 2 hours. Alright. My least favorite starter for Generation 7 is Rowlet. Again, guys, hold your pitchforks. Put them pitchforks down. Hey, I said put them pitchforks down. Listen up for a second. Put your torches down as well. Dang, y'all are really defensive. Okay, put every pitchfork down before I even explain anything. Listen, I don't mind about Rowlet. I'm going to say it right now. But out of all the starters in this entire region, he is my least favorite one of all. I've just never been a big fan of Rowlet. Let me just say it right now. I've never been a big fan of Rowlet to begin with. So for anybody that does like Rowlet, great. But I've never really been a big fan of him. As for the other two, this is actually where it gets kind of hard because in a way I don't mind with either one of them. I think in some way, both the next two stars I didn't mention actually have something bad about them. To begin with, both the stars that I have not mentioned yet has something that kind of screwed them up in some way, shape, or form. It's just hard to figure out which one actually goes in which spot. I think for my second place pick, it's going to end up being Litten. Now, let me go and tell you right now, guys, to begin with, I don't mind about Litten in some way, shape, or I don't mind about Litten at all. But just like some of the previous entries, we've run to another one of them Pokemon that actually kind of screws up themselves with their evolution. When I first saw the final evolution of Litten, and even still to this day, I'm still not the biggest fan of it. Incineroar, I was hoping that the Pokemon would stay on all fours. Most of the Pokemon that go from standing on all fours to standing on two legs, screw it up. For Alligator, he does not screw it up in any way, shape, or form. Totodile is really cute and he always stands on two legs, and Frowder is just like a giant version of Totodile. So yeah, like Frowder has nothing wrong with him when he stands on two legs. It's just some Pokemon don't do it right. That was the problem in Emboar from Generation 5. That's the problem in Infernape in Generation 4. Hell, Incineroar suffers the same exact problem. I just don't like the Pokemon. It's a little bit too humanoid. Plus, along with that, it's ugly as frick. I'm sorry, it's ugly. Litten's cute, Torracat's cool, but Incineroar screws everything again. And, weirdly enough, that's I think the first time this has happened, but I think the same thing can be said for my final choice in the number one position. My favorite Pokemon from the Alola region is Popplio. That's supposed to be an O, but I actually enjoyed it out too much. Now, Popplio is ending up number one, but actually is extremely close. Popplio, I really do like. And I've even grown to like all three evolutions of Popplio in some way, shape, or form. But when I first saw the Pokemon, to me he just looked too much like a girl. He was like a Pokemon a girl would choose. And I ain't trying to be, like, biased towards, like, one gender right now. I'm just saying that, like, to me, Primarina looked too female, or, like, too much like a woman, which really got to me. Even still, that still gets me to this day. But ever since I've been using Popplio in different games, it's actually made me like him a little bit more. So I haven't really I've really gotten kind of used to it by now, and it ain't bugging me nearly as bad now. Litten I haven't used as much, so like I haven't got too much use to him, but even if I did, like, I still think his humanoid cat appearance, or humanoid combined with a cat kind of appearance, would kind of screw everything up. There's like the first generation where there's really nothing I like about any of the starters to begin with. Rowlet I never really liked. Witten I think would have been fine if it would have stayed on all fours where it's final evolution. And Popplio, I think if it didn't look too much like a lady, it would have been fine too. Honestly, I was just thinking it was too much like a lady, and that really bothers me. So yeah. Again, I ain't trying to be biased towards one gender. I'm just saying it was too much of a lady for my taste. As I said with the beginning of this video, I don't like a Pokemon look too humanoid. I mean, like Neoqueen don't really fall into the category of looking too female. It's just the revealing part of her body that really gets to me. The thing about Popplio, more likely, is that it looks too much like a female. Popplio don't even... Brielle starts looking like a female a little bit too much. But I still like Brielle a good deal. It's just that Primarina kind of screws it up. One thing I can say is definitely a good thing about Primarina, though, is it has like a really cool Z move. The Oceanic Opera or whatever. I love that Z move, and that's really cool. Where she like sings this giant bubble, her water ball, and then like just slowly pushes it. I like that a lot. So yeah. Again, guys, this is the only generation where I've never really liked any of the starters, but I still like Popplio a little bit more. But still not the greatest of deals. At least the starter from Generation 1 through 6 I actually kind of liked. I've liked at least one starter with no flaws from Generation 1 through 6. Generation 1, I liked Charizard, and there was no flaws with him. Generation 2, Totodile, no flaws with him or any of his evolutions. Gen 3, Trico, but Mudkip came really close behind. I think if it didn't have Marshtomp, it probably could have won out. Gen 4, Turtwig. The only thing I really had to complain about him is how bad of matchup he has against, or like how many things he's weak to, and I hate that. Other than that, he's a really cool Pokemon. Gen 5, I pretty much like any starter but Tepig from that region. Gen 6 is where the stars start going downhill for sure. The only good starter in my opinion was really Froakie, but I do like Vennekin's evolutions a little bit too. And then we got this generation where there's really nothing good I can say about any of these starters. I'm not a big fan of any of these. Like, I like Popplio a lot, but it kind of screws it up with looking too much like a female in its final evolution. Litten too much like a human when it was in a Cineroar, and for now I just don't like it all in general. So yeah, guys, let's finish it up with the final generation of Pokemon up to this date. I'm going to be talking about my favorite Gen 8 starters. We're going to finish up the video with that. As soon as we finish this, the video's done. So yeah. I'm going to let you know why I'm erasing all this stuff. My next video will probably end up being PBR. I do got the Pokemon already transferred and ready to go. And if we don't have any problems, we might be able to restart after the game gets a little bit too hard. We'll have to do the same Coliseum over and over and over again. So yeah. Let me go ahead and make sure everything's gone. Okay, I think that's about it. Let me make sure before I do my last one. I see a little spot down here. There you are. Okay, is that it now? Oh, see a blue spot up here. I see a blue spot on my nose. I see a blue spot next to my right eye. So that's why I'm doing a final check. Okay, I think that's actually it now. So guys, we're on to my favorite starters of the newest generation of Pokemon out right now. As of March 23rd, 2020. So, in the future, whenever they come up with whenever they have a Generation 9, this won't no longer be the newest region, but for now, it is. So, if any of y'all are in the future watching this video and there is a Generation 9, hi future me, hi future people, how is Generation 9 like? Anyway, let's finish it up real quick, guys. We got one more generation to cover, that generation being the Gaylord. The Gaylord region. We're going to finish up with this. The starters in this generation are the following Pokemon. They're the newest starters as well. First off, we got the grass-type Pokemon, Grookey. I actually cannot remember the names of his evolutions, so I'm not really the biggest fan of him. Grookey, or whatever, is really cute. But from there, I remember its final evolution name, that being Raboom or something like that. But I don't remember, it's like Wonky or something like that, I don't quite remember. But the grass-type Pokemon, Grookey. Then we got Scorbunny, the second Pokemon of that region, which goes from Scorbunny to Raboot to Cinderace or whatever. And then finally we got the water type starter, which is Sobble, which goes into Drizzle, and then finally goes into Inteleon. So let's finish up this video real quick, guys, by naming out my favorite starter from this generation. Now, for this generation, my least favorite Pokemon has to go to... Actually, this is actually a very hard decision because in a way I don't think this Pokemon should be there, but I think, honestly, there's only one Pokemon I really didn't like. Or I really did like all their evolutions in. There's only one Pokemon that ends up like that. And we'll get to that when we get to number 1. My first Pokemon goes to Grookey, the grass type starter from this generation. Let me explain. Grookey is actually a very cute Pokemon. I love Grookey. I just love how it looks. I never use it, but I actually do like how it looks. But one thing that completely screws it up is its evolution from there. Raboom ain't too bad looking. I actually don't mind about him a lot. However, his middle evolution, that I can't remember the name of, is god-awful. I don't like how ugly the piece of crap is. That's all I gotta say. I'm gonna wrap this up kind of quickly, guys, because like I said, I don't want to end up passing out just randomly right here. I am going to do one more thing at the end of this video, and I am going to go ahead and like tally up how many of the starters I actually liked. I'm going to put grass, fire, and water on the screen, and for every generation, I'll tally up how many of them I actually like. And then we'll see out of all of them, which starter out of grass, fire, and water I picked the most. I'll explain how that works more whenever we actually get to it, but let's go ahead and finish up this first. As I was saying, Grookey's a really cute Pokemon, but from there it just gets ugly. Raboom ain't too bad, but the middle evolution just makes it look too creepy, and it can't really fix itself with that final evolution because of that middle evolution as well. My next Pokemon, the second place Pokemon, actually goes to... It goes to the fire-type Pokemon, Scorbunny. Now, thing about Scorbunny is that it's... I love Scorbunny. Let's just say it right now. I love Scorbunny. I love it a great deal. But Raboot... Let me just say this right now. Raboot Let me repeat that one more time. Reboot is very, very ugly. It could basically stretch every Pokemon I've called ugly combined. Reboot, I think, might be one of the ugliest starter evolutions in any of them. I was talking about how some of the Pokemon are ugly. I would rather see Marshtomp than see the male evolution of Scorbunny. People say Crocodile's really weird looking. Not as weird as Reboot. I think Reboot's ugly as frick. I don't like him at all. So yeah, a little quick definition. I like Scorbunny, and I actually do like Cinderace a lot too. However, Reboot really screws that up. I do not like Reboot at all. And finally, we'll finish it up with the last Pokemon, which is the Water-type Pokemon, Sobble. Sobble is freaking adorable. And now here's the thing that sets him apart from these other two evolutions. He actually does not have any ugly evolution to begin with. I actually do like Ultra evolutions of Sobble. However, I have a little bit of an iffy opinion with his final evolution, Inteleon. I'll get to that in a second, but let me go and tell you, Sobble is freaking adorable. Especially in Sword and Shield with that little cutscene they show in the beginning. When they show you the starters, I find that really cute. He just sits there and jumps in water and has fun in it. And like he's just like one of the cutest starters ever in that one. That little cutscene especially, that really helps it. So yeah, I love him. Along with that, I think Drizzle was pretty cool as well. I like Drizzle a good deal. Inteleon, I've grown a attachment with Inteleon at least a little bit. The problem with that is that's one of the Pokemon that's kind of iffy, and it's one of those where it's kind of like you're kind of a human kind of thing where you're standing on 2 feet. Well, like I said, some Pokemon that stand on 2 feet don't make them look like humans. Think of it this way. Again, think of Feraligatr. He stands up on 2 feet from the beginning when he's a Totodile. Same thing with Crocodile, same thing with Feraligatr. But the difference between him and some of the other Pokemon, does he look like a human? No, he don't. He looks like a giant alligator that just stands on 2 feet. Instead of walking in all fours, he stands up on 2. And I find that really insanely cool. So yeah, Inteleon is not as humanoid looking as a Pokemon like Emboar or Incineroar or something like that. It's not as human looking as those. But still, it's one of the points where it has kind of that humanoid thing, especially inside the Pokemon camp thing. Dear God, seeing that thing run up to me and then look like really tall and intimidating, it almost like it's staring down at me and like judging me or something. It almost looks like a human from how it stands too. It sits there with its head literally like this on its. Well, sorry. Let me move this out of the way. Well, I can get this out of the way. It really stands there about like this, and I hate that where it has like its hand on its hip like that. I hate that junk. That's the only thing I can really say bad about it though. Other than that, I think it just looks a little bit too humanoid. I think if it didn't look too humanoid, it wouldn't be that bad. Again, it's not as bad as some of the other starters. Some of the other starters are a lot worse. Like Emboar or Incineroar again. Those are two of them that does the humanoid look kind of bad. Especially Incineroar though. Emboar kind of looks like a human, but not nearly as much. In a way. So yeah. Anyway guys, I know Generation 6 through 8 didn't have much of an explanation for them, but what was I really going to explain? I am going to do at least one more thing right now, and I'm going to go ahead and we're going to write the 3 elements you can get for your starter. in most games. We're not going to count Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee or Pokemon Yellow or anything like that, where you can end up getting Pikachu or Eevee. We're all going to count the main games like Red, Blue, Yellow, Silver, Silver, Gold, and Crystal or whatever, and all that. We're going to count every star from that. I said I'm going to pick the ones from the ones I played. Most of the ones I play are actually the remakes. So yeah, we're not really going to focus on that though. My main thing is we're just going to we're going to count up how many starters I like from each generation and see which one is the one I picked the most of. Do I pick the grass type in most situations? Do I pick the water type in most situations? Or do I pick the fire type in most situations? Let's count that up and see what happens. So, in one category, we got the grass type. How we're going to do this is we're just going to put some lines in a different color below the name. And we're going to see how many times I actually picked that starter. We got, well, I'm going to put it in different colors as well. We got fire, and finally, we'll put a little tribute to Totodile on this, and we'll make the water this kind of blue. We finally got water. Oh wait, I didn't expect to do that. Hold up. Okay. Sorry about that. And finally we got the water type. I'll have to write this a little bit slower. Smaller. I know it ain't the best, but you can kind of tell it's a T, E, and R. So yeah, now what we're going to do is we're going to see which starter or which of these types is the one I pick for my starter in most games. So, let's begin. Let's recap. First off, as you guys know, in the first generation, the starter I would pick most often and that I love the most is Charizard. So that means in Generation 1, I pick the Fire starter. That gets us 1 point for the Fire type. Generation 2, I pick Totodile. I love Totodile and I love Feraligatr and I love all three of his evolutions. So, that gives us 1 point for the Water type. 1 for Charizard, 1 for Totodile. Generation 3. That's actually kind of hard because I picked both of them in some way, shape, or form. I can't really say that, here's what I'll do. If there's a starter that I pick more often than, or if there's a starter that I pick, if in any generation I actually pick a starter, or pick one starter and then in a game pick another starter, I'm actually going to count it for both. In Generation 3, I actually ended up picking Swampert for one game and Sceptile for another game. So, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and give 1 point to the Grass type and 1 point to the Water type. So now it's kind of fair since I used both the starters. Yeah, kind of works out that way. Generation 4, my favorite Pokemon is Turtwig or Torterra. So, since I pick him and don't pick anybody else normally, well actually I never pick anybody else but Torterra, so another point goes to the Grass starters. Generation 5, my favorite Pokemon is Servine. But as you guys remember from my other project, I actually picked Oshawott. Because of that, I would choose either one of these. I'm actually going to give 2 points to a type again. I'm going to give a point to Grass because most of the time I'll pick Servine. But however, I did pick Oshawott, and I will choose them sometimes in the future too if I ever play the game again. So a point goes to you too. Next up, we got Generation 6, which is the generation where I picked Greninja. And in that generation, there was no Pokemon that ended up liking better than Greninja. All the other Pokemon I thought were creepy or ugly in any sort of way. Like, Big was the only thing to come close to that, and even that wasn't like that close. So, Froakie earned another point for the water type. Alright, now we're moving on to Generation 7. I'm actually going to end up giving a point both to Fire and Water, because in my Let's Play of Sun and Moon, I'm going to have to pick the Fire or Grass type starter in order to get Toda on my team. I'm mostly going to pick the Fire type, that way we'll have something going for us. So I'm going to go and give a point for both of these because I usually would pick either one in any situation. And finally, we got Generation 8. And in Generation 8, I just mentioned it. Generation 8 is kind of a difficult decision to say what I'm going to do. But here's the thing. The only reason... In one of my Let's Plays, you guys remember me picking Cinderace as the starter. The only reason I did it, though, was so I can get Drenton on my team. So about 95% of the time, I will end up picking the water starter for Generation 8. But it also depends on the situation. I mean, the water starter. I'll always pick the water starter for Generation 8. But if I want a opponent like Drenton on my team, I'll have to pick the fire starter. So again, I will go ahead and give a point both to you and you. Alright. You guys can probably already tell by the lines. But let's go ahead and count up and see which Pokemon or which type I picked the most of in the game. You guys can probably already tell, but we're going to see what the total number actually is. So in the grass type section, we got 1, 2, 3. So we got a three Pokemon for the grass starter. For fire, we got 1, 2, and 3. So we got the same amount as we did the grass type. We got 3. And then let's count the number on water. On water, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got double the number we did on anything. The winner of all the types that I usually choose is actually water. In a way, I wouldn't get... I mean, I know I picked the water starter a lot, but I didn't expect the water to win. Because it seems like in a lot of generations, I always pick the grass type starter most. All the grass type starters that won out here are Turtwig, Trico, and I'm trying to get the... Snivy. Oh my god, I'm saying it wrong. Okay, Trico, Turtwig, and Snivy. That's the 3 grass types. 3 fire types, Charmander. Did I say Cyndaquil earlier? I'm trying to think. Generation 5? No. Okay. So, sorry about that. Charizard, Incineroar, and Cinderace. And then the water type won out with a bunch of Pokemon. We have Totodile from Generation 2. We have Mudkip for Generation 3. We have Oshawott from Generation 5. We got Greninja for Generation 6. We got Popplio from Generation 7. And we got Sobble or Inteleon from Generation 8. And as you can see clearly by the stats on the screen, that completely tells you that the water type, I guess you could say, is the one that has my most favorite Pokemon in it. Like I said, I thought in a way that the grass type was actually going to win, because in a lot of generations I actually end up picking them. Like I said, I picked them in, I got Serperior, I got Torterra, I got Trico. Like, you know, I don't know why I didn't think about it. I honestly didn't think the grass type would be the one to win. There was usually never a generation where I picked a fire starter except in Generation 1. Generation 1 had the best fire starter in my opinion, and then like, the only reason it got like a tie point is because of the fact that is because of our generations, like, to me having to pick Witten in certain situations in Generation 7, and then in Generation 8, the same thing happening with Cinderace. So yeah, there you go, guys. That is all my favorite Pokemon for Generation 1 through 8, and there's the stats of what it looks like all the way through. Grass and Fire actually had the same amount of starter picks, and Water won out with an amazing total, actually doubling both of these. And if you actually add, in a way, like if you look at this guys, it actually makes a math problem. Look at this. 3 plus 3 equals 6. Is that not funny? That's kind of weird too. Anyway, guys, that's actually it for this episode. I find that really insane how that actually happened, but it did work out in our favor. The water type is the one that I picked the most of. Most of them also depend on certain situations, though. Totodile would never depend on certain situation. I would always pick him most of the time, unless I really want to change the pace. So yeah, but Totodile's my buddy. Why would I replace him? So yeah, anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed. That's actually it for this video. I gotta go ahead and drive my computer and all that back in there. Again, I hope you enjoy it. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you for the next one. Bye-bye, everyone, and I'll see you all for the next Pokemon Battle Revolution video. See you all then.